So yesterday, let's pull up yesterday's thing. What did we do yesterday? What did everyone get done yesterday? How far did you get? Did everyone finish site 4?
We had 6 pull requests.
6 pull requests. Ooh. We could look at them.
You can ignore mine because I accidentally did 2 on 3. So,
2 on 3?
Yeah, I already had 3. You pulled up on me. Yeah, ignore mine. Oh, wait, we're doing 4. Never mind. No problem.
Good job. Okay. Which one should we look at?
Cakes.
Oh.
How dare you? That's more than we should look at X.
It sounds ideal.
This one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I don't know your names yet.
What's it?
In progress.
Work in progress. So, what do we have here? We could spin it up, but it's okay.
What is that good stuff?
So, do you guys know how to? Do you guys know how to copy down each other's code from GitHub?
Nope.
Copy that.
As in, if you needed for a new site, it's an iterative challenge, and each day you want to try the current day's thing. But I think like you shouldn't be stuck back in another news site. You should be able to download someone else's working copy and build off of that, and just copy their source folder, and that should be fine. Let's try and go over that really quick. I'm going to. This is a new site 4 right here. Even though it's a new site 5, I copied the source folder back here already. So let's say we want to copy someone's, let's say Hank's. Let's try. I'm not sure I can because it gets complicated with like branches and different repositories, but let's do it. So I'm gonna go to my desktop and I'm going to make a folder. Oh, let's make this bigger. Okay. Make dir test. Test. Huh? No such file. Oh, I didn't tab complete it. So now I'm gonna git clone Hank's repository. Where was my? There it is. Hank's repository. Here, where is it? Was I looking at it? No, this is a different window.
Yeah, it's that green that you have.
Okay. Let me just close these.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have his repository here. Or this is the commit actually. So I have these pull requests. I have this commit, and it's coming from this place. It's not coming from the India Platoon repository. So I'm going to click on there, and then now I'm in his repository, and you can see in the URL, this is his username. It's not India Platoon anymore. So when you clone this, you could just go to the India Platoon and then type in his username manually. That would probably be easier than navigating to the page. But here, if we clone his repository.
Are you cloning his full repository or are you just
Yeah.
cloning?
Because he forked the repository. He made his own copy that's independent
Oh, I see.
from India Platoon. And I'm going to CD in.
So what do you call the thing above your repository?
Above it?
Yeah, so I guess when I hear the word repository, I
Uh-huh.
thought before that it kind of meant like how Indian Platoon has a repository, like a big computer that has all of our stuff in it.
So
Now you're saying repository, like it's just a project has its own repository.
the way I think of repository is a repository is a folder that contains a .git folder. And you can clone down the two different repositories. If I make a different folder now, I make a something blah and cd into it, and then git clone again. I just cloned the same repository, but now it has a different .git folder. And if I make changes in this one, it's independent from that one. But it has the same remote. It has the same remote that's named origin. And that remote is, let's go to it.
I think you can use about something
Yep, your remote V.
totally outside of this. So I actually do understand what you're saying.
Mhm.
I think I'm confused about something.
Let's go back to what we were trying to do. We were trying to get his code, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Git's like you already know it's a little, it's like magical. You put in these commands and it's like a time machine for your code, and all your code will just change to match whatever it was, and it just remembers everything. So I wasn't planning on going over this, but
No,
we might rush a little.
Honestly, you don't have to. I think I'm just confused about nomenclature. Like it's not conceptual.
Okay. So.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
So when you switch off, like when you switch off to somebody else's origin, like switch your remote repository, I have a problem. Like when I switch back to mine and try to push my stuff up, like I can't add my new work to my original tree.
To your original
branch, yeah.
So before we were doing a little messier version. I was trying to get Karen's code on his machine, and you can change the remote. You can say get remote set URL some URL, and well, you have to say which remote. Origin. Origin is just the default. We can say another common remote might be Heroku. And you have different places that you send your code, and you give them different names. But this might not be, if you want to stay in the same directory and just do everything in the same directory with the same .git, then you would want to use set URL. But it might be easier just to make a different directory and then clone it straight down there. I'll fix your URL. So we made a different directory. Why do you think it looks like this? There's no. Okay, let's look at what it looks like. When I ls, I saw there's no source folder. So I'm going to. I have to what? Does anybody know? I know somebody knows.
What are you looking for?
I'm trying to get the source folder. I cloned down.
Oh, you cloned mine down, but you don't have a source folder?
So
Branch, you're still on master though.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
sorry.
it. That must be it, right?
That has to be it.
Let's see what branches there are. So if you use /a, I just think of it as all, then you get, I don't know, does all work?
So head is what you're looking at, and master are the choices, and master's what you're looking at.
Master is what we're on right now, and
Right.
when you switch to branch, it does its magic.
I just mean that first line where it says head.
Ah, head.
So it's pointing at origin master, which is what you're looking at, right? So there's only two that you can choose from.
I believe this is what GitHub is at. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this is where we're at or where let's check.
That's
Let's
where we're at.
okay. Let's
Based on that guy.
check out Hank. So now we magically get this source folder that we can copy over to another folder and start the assignment. And it'll have all of Hank's stuff in it. Let's do the branch all again to see what if the head thing. So I'm on Hank, and my head must be here somewhere. Yeah, my head is here in my Git log. So I think that's where it is in GitHub. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I just use this git branch all to see which branches there are, and I can switch between them and choose one. Okay. So Bobby, how do you check out a new branch or check out an old branch?
Check out an old branch.
Mhm.
Check out.
The
That's a new branch, right? Check out a new branch. Check out that.
dash B is a new branch, yes. And without the dash B, it's an old branch. So if I say git check out something that doesn't exist, then it won't know what I'm saying.
Check out master.
But if I do something like Kyle just said, master, it exists. So we just switched to it, and we lost the source folder because that's where master is. And it's not just the folder; it's all the little changes in your code too. And if you have a file open, you see it change, which is kind of fun.
Before, when you were on master, didn't master have a source and Hank didn't?
No, other way.
It's the other way. So
Oh, we were on Hank when he was saying why not.
Yeah.
when you clone these assignments, the source folder is just deleted, and so you can bring your work with you and all your styling and whatever you put in there, it's your own. Mhm. Yeah. Okay, so let's. I was going to do the overview of yesterday. This is the overview yesterday. Okay, and then for the next 5 to 10 minutes, we'll go over HTTP methods, which I'm sure you guys already have been pounded into your head. And we're going to go through part of New Site 5.
We already did the overview of yesterday.
An overview yesterday? Yeah, we started that earlier. Do you have any questions about yesterday specifically? Okay. If anyone does, just speak up. And we'll have a break from 9:30, which is in 15 minutes, to 9:45, and then we'll do the rest of Site 5. So now, what are the 4 most common HTTP methods? One.
Common one.
HTTP methods. Sorry, HTTP.
Get, post, put.
Wait, Juan. What was it?
It's a push pull.
Push pull. That's Git. I'm glad you're thinking about Git, but what are the HTTP methods? Oh, you.
I'm lost.
Okay, so one is get.
Django.
The most common one is get.
Right.
Post.
But
So I've never used that, but
patches update, right?
patch and put are the same, I think. I just use put. But this is our CRUD. Create, read, update, and let me figure that one out.
Destroy.
Sure.
Well, delete, destroy, same thing. Right.
So that's our CRUD right there. And whenever we want to do any of those things in a RESTful API, or conventionally speaking, we'll use these methods. So the assignment today, where is it? 5. Let me open it up. I changed into this Git thing.
So why did we change to names?
Oh, we just to show you how to navigate Git a little bit. I think that's useful, especially for a new site, and it's just useful in general. Yeah. Okay. And I'm gonna. So I've copied over the source folder from new site 4. Let's spin it up. I already npm installed. There's a node modules folder right here, so I don't have npm install. We can start. Gonna split the window. Give it a little more room. It doesn't have to be this big anymore. Oh gosh, what just happened? Oh, I pressed Control instead of Command. What did I do? Okay. So it's spun up on this screen. Bear with me while I pull it over.
Check out all your Chrome browsers that you have open.
Yeah, I have too many. I have too many tabs. Okay, let me just. This one. We have our app here.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. And here we see that the new site 4 functionality we made yesterday is good.
Is this Hanks?
No.
This is the same one we did yesterday
Mine is
as a
much more
class.
advanced. Mine's much more advanced.
It probably looks better. Let's see. So this search works. Okay, so now, do you want to see the instructions for News 5? Let's do that.
What are we gonna do right now?
We're going to do News Site 5.
We're gonna do it all together and then do it.
No, we're not gonna do it all together today. I'm gonna go through News 5 and not go off on tangents. I think that the more tangents we go on, the worse. At least watching the video will be, and it's just better to stick with the lesson plan. Maybe have questions more towards the end. I go on too many tangents and I take too much time. So the goal today is to be succinct. So we have a little explanation. You can read through it of get, post, put, and delete. And we have this example, which happens to be the same as this here, that we can test in our console. Because we have a server running here. Ooh, yes. On 3001, we can access it. And this server already has something written to accept a post request where you can make a new article from your news site.
And
And
that's on the actual server that we have
Yes.
running?
Yeah.
If it didn't have that functionality, you couldn't do post request?
No. APIs can only do what
You tell it to.
yes.
Okay.
So this is in new site 5 that we cloned today?
Yep, I think this has been there all along. Because I don't think there were any changes. It might be changed. I doubt it. It's probably the same as new site 1. We might work with new site 1, but
So the API didn't exist until the site for 3. Does it show up in 3?
it's 3.
So it shows up in 3. But yeah, it's
It's
probably
easier
the
for
same
you.
API.
Yeah, I doubt. I very much doubt they changed it for each one. But yeah, so what this looks like is we have some object here, and it has the structure of an article. We make the same fetch. We use the same fetch method function, and we give it a second parameter. So the first parameter is a string. It might be a variable that we interpolate. It's a string. And then it has a second. This is a big thing, but
Can you blow that up, Mike?
yeah.
Thank you.
That is okay. I should look up here. But this object here, this second parameter, that's all it is a second parameter. And it's an object. It has some key value pairs, and this key is headers. Headers will let you know the content type, and it'll also be where you put in authentication tokens, which can get tricky when you're dealing with an API you didn't write. But you also have your method, your HTTP method, your body, and that's going to be the meat of your content that you're sending over. So we have to send it over in a string. We can't send it as a JSON object. It'll be a string representation. So the key value pair here, this value has to be a string. And we'll just stringify this object. So it'll just look just like this, but with quotes. And then we're gonna look at our response. We're gonna console log it. Uh-oh. What does that?
3,000 instead of 3001.
Yeah, that's why when I saw that, I was like, that doesn't look like what it was before.
It's at API.
I don't know. This must be the Express API. This isn't what happened before. I don't know. It's 3001. Let me try and restart the
So
server.
the article is API articles.
Oh, slash articles.
API.
API slash API.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, it's like that Django default.
Oh, well then why did it say this?
Yeah.
It refused here. Security issues.
Yeah.
Amazon is free.
So what is refuse to connect as great as this? Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
File looks like
I'm kind of befuddled. So we're 5 minutes early, but we'll go for a break. And
Let me see the area.
oh, you want to? Let's try and fix it real quick first.
Yeah. It's probably only set up to.
Okay, so yeah, here.
So open. Yeah. So do it from this console.
That's what I did before.
Yeah. Then it'll work.
Yay! Thanks, Josh. We'll break in 5 minutes. So here we have the response. So we got the response, and we had to run this JSON on it. Let's try, and if we had not run JSON on it, we would have gotten something that's not as useful as this. If we console log. Oh gosh, where did it go?
What are you doing?
What am I doing?
Am I the only person who doesn't know what we're doing?
Oh, I'm sorry. What?
Are
So,
we adding something?
oh yes. So what we did was we added this to the database.
Am I the only one who doesn't know what we're doing?
So we added this article.
You don't just look out for me.
I should have shown you
I
this.
seriously have no idea what you're doing.
You're right. You're right. I should have shown you this. We added this article, and now it actually shows up on our front end.
Where did you get the articles from? And
This article. So if we want to change it, and we want to
when you
say
say this article, where
this
is
article.
So you're making up one?
Yeah, I'm making up this object of data.
Whatever. I said if it was just me, not to put me in there. That's fine. I don't care. Blame me.
So
I don't know.
I think it's a wonderful question. Yeah, so we're using fetch in the console to send a
Article.
whatever kind of request it needs.
Post.
And the post request is like a JSON object that we're sending along with it.
The post
And the API is
request.
handling the rest of it, putting it in the database.
Right. So now it's being added to the API.
The database.
The database.
Well, we don't have to do this now. Or well, the API is
Someone wrote the API
Yeah,
for
so-
us.
The API is running the database.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're able to add through the API to the database. That's what we're
You've
doing.
written an API before.
Yeah,
You've done it in Django.
right. So if we think back to Django, when we were writing the create, read, update, and destroy in Django, we were doing everything with Django. So we would send a form to the user, and they would fill out the form, and then when they hit enter, the form would take all the data in the form and send it back to Django, right? Then Django would read all that data from the form. Django has all that built-in form stuff that's very nice, right? But really all it's doing is sucking all that data out of the post request body and putting it in the database, right? Here, we're using JavaScript to send it to our backend API. And then the API, because we didn't write this API, I can't tell you the syntax for it, but the concept is exactly the same. It's going to arrive, instead of it's going to arrive as JSON on the back, and the API that's already written for us knows how to parse through it and put it. I don't even know if it saves in the database. It might even just be writing it to a file. Doesn't matter. It's saved. Somehow it's persisting it on the API. And then when we make the API calls to retrieve articles, now all our new data will be there. Does that help?
It's also operating on the front though, without how you're saying, it can persist on the back.
Right.
But we don't know for sure that it's saving into a database.
I don't think it's set up a database. I think it might be writing to a file. But it's somehow, we can look at it later.
But it'll still operate the same way, read-wise, from our front side.
It has a database of some sort, yeah.
Some kind of way to persist the data.
Probably Mongo.
I think the confusing part is because with Django, we saw our database and we typically make our database. So now it's just we're making HTTP requests to a magic box.
Right, we're using React and we haven't hooked it up to our own API yet. But we are just skipping the building an API part for now and focusing on React and interacting with the API someone else wrote. And when you go to your company and you're a front-end developer, you might not be writing the API anyway. So you might have to interact with the API someone else wrote.
Yeah, it's not always going to be, sometimes you're just going to have to get used to the fact that I understand conceptually what this is doing, but I can't see the engine or I can't see the types in the walls or whatever, but I know that, it's whatever, making my car go or or bringing water in from outside, right? So I know that this is somehow, if I format this correctly, if I make the correct kind of HTTP request and I send it to the right place, I trust that my backend is going to save it, right? And like I think like Mike was just saying, that might be true for an API at your company that your company is writing. That might be true for some outside API that you use. You can post tweets with code. Like if you had your username and password, and you just formatted the HTTP request, you could just write a JavaScript script that would post the tweets for you without having to actually go to Twitter.
Just like
right?
this.
Just like this, right? And I have no idea what Twitter is built in anything Java. Doesn't matter. And I don't know exactly what what happens. I just know that that conceptually works.
Everyone talks in HTTP requests.
Yeah, exactly. If we know the HTTP, if we're good on HTTP, Mike's absolutely right. Then that's the powerful thing, right? And then from there we can figure most of it out.
So I hate to ask another question, but
No.
so right now you created this article.
Yeah.
You posted it to the API, or at least conceptually to the API somewhere.
No, we did, like
We did
literally.
Right, so it's posted into that. So before, when I would do like the length of all the articles that I had in my API, right, it was 40. So now
Yeah.
would it be 41
Yep.
or not?
I navigated here by saying if I made another one that was the exact
Okay.
same, which I shouldn't be able to, but
43.
That makes sense then.
yeah.
So 43 would be empty, right?
No, I just made it. I
No,
just,
There
there just
wouldn't be a
none
40,
else to say.
yeah.
But
Okay.
if you try 44.
oh,
Then
yeah.
go to 44, yeah,
Go to
because then that wouldn't be a 44.
And there's nothing shows up.
Okay, I get it now. Well, then
The API should have returned a 404.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's like, yeah. Ideally, it would say this record. There's no record.
Okay, so take a break till 9:45.
Return to the console.
Oh, it did return to the console. Okay, cool. Yeah. So you would handle that. You would say I received 404, and then you would somehow